talk about goals, baby. Let's talk about books and me. Hello friend, how are you doing today? My name is Mary. This is Happilyeveresch, and today I want to talk about my 2021 bookish and reading goals, and then at the end I'm gonna throw a little life stuff in there, so if you're not interested in that, no problem. I will do all of the bookish chatting all at once, but stay tuned if you want to hear some more life personal goals. It feels a little like with much hubris we make goals for 2021, but I do think there's something so refreshing about turning over a new year. It just feels full of hope, even if our actual life situation isn't that much different than it has been, but you know, we still dream and we still hope, and I think those are good things. I think that's what it's part of the human spirit. So cheers to 2021, friends, all the good and the bad, and let's chat 2021 goals. And I'm really sorry if I'm like swinging around here, but we have the office rolly chair out and I'm just like, I'm living my best life basically. All right, I will be doing kind of my 2020 books and review wrap up, where I'm going to list all of the books that I read in 2020 and kind of do a review of my goals, but I obviously don't want to do that until I've read every last book in 2020. I love that some people are able to like put these out and they're like, oh, it's like they don't mind missing out those last couple books, but I just like have this feeling like, what if like it's my favorite book because the last book of the year that I read, or like it doesn't feel complete if I don't include every single thing. So those videos probably won't be coming until 2021, but I can chat about my goals and my hopes and my aspirations for 2021 and 2020. So, and really what better time to hope than this current year. So my first goal, it was a similar goal that I had last year, was to read from my shelves. And I must say, 2020, spoiler alert, I did a pretty good job. I think our world situation kind of made it more of a necessity to read from my shelves, and like what a blessing and what an honor to have all these books to pull from. But obviously like libraries were closed. There wasn't a lot of going to the thrift store and buying new books or going to a bookshop. So I just naturally pulled more from my shelves because that's where I was. I was at home, and so I'm interested to see if I am able to continue this trend in 2021. Now I will say I did get new books like from Book of the Month Club, or like when I would go book shopping. So that's technically reading from my shelf because I own the books. And so I still like include that in this goal, but definitely really thinking that I want to be reading backlist or titles that I've owned from this point and then backwards, and trying to, yes, read the new books I accumulate and purchase and bring into my home because that's like the point of buying them, but also to be reading books that have been sitting on my shelves that I own. It's still very much a goal, still very much a focus that I would like to maintain in 2021, and we'll see, maybe I'll do even better than I did in 2020. This next goal is probably the biggest challenge for me because I do so much audiobook listening, reading with my ears, and I love it. I would never want to give up that form of reading, and I know it's very much a privilege for me to be able to both read with my eyes and read with my ears. But I do fully enjoy doing both. But I really want to put a focus on physically reading this year as well. And I would like to read physically at least one book a week. So I want to physically read 52 books. And I think that's a really obtainable goal. I think a lot of times I just get out of the habit of like having a reading rhythm, or having like a time to read every day, or reading before bed. And so I'm filling that time with other things, such as scrolling through my phone, or, you know, watching a show. And so I really just want to put a priority on reading, especially before bed, because I know it's so much healthier for your brain to be starting to shut down and clicking off electronics and all of those things. So I really want to make a concerted effort, and that's a lot for me just in how my reading kind of has trended in 2020. So I will be very interested to see how I do on that goal, because I am a little nervous. I think it's very obtainable. Like, I think I could read one book a week, no problem. And I'm not super concerned about like every week I have to read one book. Like, some weeks I might read 2 books because they're shorter, or maybe they're lighter, or the reading style is easier. It's a middle grade, a YA, whatever. And some weeks it might be like 1 book every 2 weeks because it's a classic or it's a longer book. So it's not that I'm super strict on it has to be 1 full book read in the week, but I just kind of, the full breakdown, I want to have physically read 52 books. I think you get the picture. I think we can move on. But I definitely will be kind of checking in with that goal because I think that that's going to be the hardest one to obtain, and it also is probably one of the most concrete goals I have. The rest are a little more loose goals, kind of open to interpretation. So we'll see how I do on that one. My goal number 3 is to complete a seasonal bingo that I create for myself. I will link my winter bingo TBR video that I completed at the beginning of December. But this is something I just want to do seasonally. I really love wrapping up my seasonal reading, so I thought, why not give myself a little challenge every season? Again, they're prompts to help me read from my shelves and kind of maybe get creative in the books that I'm pulling from my shelves. And then I'm also going to be doing some giveaways based on how many bingos I complete. So it's also kind of a way just to like participate with the people who watch my videos, which I think will be a lot of fun. So I want to create one of those every season. Check, we've done so good so far for the winter season, but we will see how I do on that, how many bingos I'm able to get. But yeah, I just want to do that. It's a lot of fun and just kind of a nice outlet to kind of structure my seasonal reading. Goal number 4 is kind of a booktube goal, but it's to create and kind of gather all of my favorite booktubers' best books and see what I have on my shelf and kind of create just a reading challenge or a reading goal to prioritize some of those books. I thought about doing this last year and never got around to it, but I do believe April over at Getting Hygge With It did this, and she said she had so much fun getting all of the different recommendations, and that she's gotten great recommendations and had such a stellar reading year because of it. So stay tuned for that video. It should be coming probably again later in January when most people have put out their best books. I might even pop on over to Bookstagram and see if some of my accounts that I follow there kind of do a best of list. I would love just to, yeah, gather all of those books and definitely be prioritizing them, especially if I own them. If I own them, why am I not reading them? I absolutely should be. So I think that'll be a fun little challenge. I'll do a spread in my book journal and we can kind of see what I read, what I like. Do I actually have a lot in common with the people I watch and our reading tastes? I think it'd be a fun little challenge to do. So I will definitely be looking into that later in January. My goal number 5 is to read 12 Book of the Month Club pick books in this calendar year. That doesn't have to be the ones that I'm picking. I have a backlist on my shelf right now, but I just want to read 12. I want to be making an effort to read those books because I am bringing them into my shelf almost monthly unless I end up skipping, but then there's also months when you bring 2 or 3 books in. So I definitely want to be making it a priority to read those books. I also did a video all about my Book of the Month Club subscription, whether I think it's worth it. Do I read the books? Do I enjoy them? So definitely go check that out if you want some more Book of the Month Club content. But I definitely just want to make a priority to read 12 Book of the Month Club picks in 2021. For my 6th goal, I would like to make it a priority to read more nonfiction. I made it a goal to have a third of my reading be nonfiction. A lot of my nonfiction reading tends to be audiobooks. I tend to read it with my ears and listen to those reads, and so I definitely think that it's doable for me as long as I prioritize those audiobooks to do a third of my reading to be from nonfiction. So we'll see how that goes. I love nonfiction and I just definitely want to make it more of a priority to be reading it and consuming it. So I think this will kind of be just a goal to keep me accountable and also to help me enjoy my reading, because I think I can get very bogged down if I'm just reading fiction. I think I like a good mix in my reading. So it's a reminder to read some more nonfiction this year. Goal number 7 is to continue to participate in my book club. We have had some health issues in my home these past couple months, and I just have my readings dropped off, and I definitely was just not in a headspace to be picking up books that are kind of like assigned reading. That's kind of what book club is. But I thoroughly have enjoyed a lot of the books that have been picked for my book club. There are usually more literary fiction and more titles that are a little more hard-hitting and are good discussion books. So I definitely just want to continue to participate. Hopefully in 2021 we'll be able to physically meet. I think the last time we physically met was in March, before everything kind of started. Maybe it was even the end of February, I can't quite remember, but I definitely want to continue to participate and meet with those ladies, whether it has to be over Zoom or if we can meet in person, depending where we're at in our world. But I just value that time and those discussions about books and the books that are being picked. They always kind of get me out of my comfort zone, but a lot of them have been books that I've wanted to read, that I've owned on my shelves. So definitely want to continue to participate in book club. And then goal number 8 is to find a way to integrate my New York Times newspaper subscription into my reading. I don't know if I kind of want to highlight like a weekly video of my favorite articles or monthly favorite articles. I know I follow a Instagrammer or a Bookstagrammer who does like collages of her New York Times articles and shares those. So I don't know, I just want to find a way to be interacting more with the newspaper and kind of sharing that, because I think there is so much value to current events, and I love getting the newspaper and going and picking it up and doing the crossword puzzle with my husband, reading the recipes. I'm going to be doing some wrapping and some decorating of my presents with the newspapers. There was an article in the New York Times about that, but there's something so slow and so calming about getting the newspaper. It definitely reminds me of my grandpa, and I just definitely want to be utilizing that subscription since I'm paying for it, but also trying to just interact with it more and kind of put it into my reading rhythm or my reading schedule, whatever that will kind of look like. I don't know. It's a pretty new thing that I've started doing, so I know some weeks I will read lots of articles, and sometimes I just get the home section out and do the crossword puzzle. So yeah, I definitely want to be figuring out how to integrate that well into my reading life. Last but not least, I guess this is just a reminder, because there are some pretty set goals here, but I do want to have kind of some low pressure in my reading. I don't want to be forcing myself to read things that I'm not in the mood for. I want to kind of just have a natural flow. And I think kind of what I was thinking is I really struggled in group participation in BookTube, and that is a lot of what BookTube is read-a-thons and read-alongs, and I want to support my friends and all of the creative and wonderful things that they're doing on BookTube. It's amazing. But I really struggle with super structured reading, like reading all nonfiction or reading all Victorian literature or reading all middle grade. And so I just want to find a way to participate without like putting so much pressure on myself. And so maybe that's just like low pressure participation, like making a TBR, but if I get to one book, great. Be proud of yourself for that. I don't know. I just definitely want to figure out a way to participate in the community, but also not to put too much pressure on myself and on my reading, because it should be fun. It is a hobby. So I definitely love to know if you have any tips or tricks for that, whether you're a watcher of BookTube or you are a content creator. Like, how do you integrate that into your reading? Do you struggle with that? I would love to chat about that, because there's always so much conflicting feelings in myself because I want to participate, but oftentimes I get like overwhelmed with one topic or one like thing to read about. So and a lot of that pressure is coming from myself, not from anyone else. So yeah, I'd love to know tips, tricks, thoughts on that. Let's chat about that down in the comments below. All right, that is all of my bookish goals. Now I am going to share, like I said, some little life goals. So stick around if you want to hear that. But thank you so much for watching. If this is, all you need, the bookish content, please like this video if you enjoyed, and please subscribe. And I will see you later, or see you in a second to talk about some just life stuff. Okay, for some personal goals. My first goal is to knit something. I have knit a little very simple ear muff thing in 2020, which I am very proud of, but I'd like to knit something else. Maybe a blanket, maybe a scarf. I don't know, no pressure, but I would like to knit something. So if you have some fun beginners knitting patterns, please share them with me down below. I need all the love and the help and the resources I can get. But yes, knit something. I think I can do it. But yes, I know I can do it. Goal number 2 is to complete some of the training books I bought for the piano. We don't yet own a piano, so I guess part 1 of the goal should be to obtain a piano, and then part 2, complete my piano training books. I was very musical in high school. I played the clarinet and I played the mallets, the marimba and the bells. I played the bass drum and the piano. I was not very talented at any of these things, as I kind of, as you see, spread myself a little thin. I went to a really small school, so that was just kind of the name of the game. You did and fit in where you were needed, but I would love to pick piano back up and to really get the scales set and the chords, and I have enough base musical knowledge that I can kind of go through those books myself, but it will definitely has been years and years and years since I've done any musical instrument playing, so I just want to get back into it. So yes, step 1, obtain a piano. Step 2, complete some of those training books that I purchased, and yeah, just kind of integrate musical instrument playing back into my life. Goal number 3 is to read the entire New Testament in a calendar year. I guess this could have gone in a reading goal, but yes, I've probably read most or all of the New Testament in bits, but not just straight through, so I would like to start in the beginning and read the whole thing. I think I could probably do this in a couple of months and not spread it out over the whole year, but I am giving myself the space and the whole year to complete it. Goal 4 is to complete a 5K run, whether that's on my own or whether I enter a race. I don't know if our world will be having races in 2021, but yes, I would like to do like the Couch to 5K app, which I've started many a time but never actually finished the whole thing. So that is definitely a goal, is I want to have completed running a full 5K. I detest running, but I want to not detest running, and I think the only way to do that is to do it. So wish me luck. That one I'm the most nervous about. But also it's just, I think it will be a really nice and calming time to myself to listen to audiobooks, some self-care, to do multiple things that are good for my body, but also that I enjoy. So really I would love to do that, but we will see. So those are most of my personal goals that are like more hobby based, that I wanted to share with you guys today. I'd love to know, again, bookish goals, what are some other life goals, hobby goals that you'd like to achieve. I must say I find it so refreshing and fun to give these resolutions and these aspirations. I can often be kind of a lofty person and have these big lofty goals, and then I'll get discouraged if I don't hit them out of the park right away. But I'm wanting to give myself the space and the growth to work on these things this year. I'd love any tips and tricks, ways that you integrate goals and resolutions into your life. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Let's chat about all of that stuff down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Wishing you guys happy holidays, and I will talk to you later.